Jennifer. Today's session is going to be all about conscious daydreaming. And Robin's going to lead us through that. Once again, thank you to Donna Chet from New Life Rehab and to Courtney Whistler from Sharpline Allocations. They are our sponsors today, and we really do appreciate their sponsoring today's session. So with that, Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you. And
awesome. Guys, thank you again for being here today and for starting your week off right. So we are going to talk about conscious daydreaming, and we're going to talk a little bit, of course, about the nerdy aspects of the science of it, so we can break it down from that aspect. But I want you to realize, most importantly, is that we daydream constantly. We are constantly thinking unconsciously with these like sort of rote programs that come in and out of our minds. And unfortunately, if you're anything like me, a lot of those thoughts are not all that pleasant. They might be right now worries about your health and worries about your finances and worries about your loved ones and worst case scenarios. Like, I'm really good at writing tragic stories in my head when they go unchecked. So we're constantly daydreaming. And what I want you to do now is to kind of interrupt. We're going to take some time, hopefully every single day, just for 10 minutes a day, to consciously interrupt that daydream and to program happier thoughts. And the reason that we do this scientifically is that it does change your brain. So today we're going to learn about the reticular activating system. So if you were with us in the last mindfulness retreat, I spoke about this particular meditation. So the reticular activating system, which I'm not going to continue to say, I'll call it the RAS. The RAS is this bundle of nerves at the brainstem, and its job is to filter out a lot of what goes on around us, a lot of our input. So essentially, if our brain had to process every color of everything, every texture, the temperature constantly, noticing everyone's hair color, eye color, if my brain had to process all of that information, it would fry like a computer that's had too much intake. So the reticular activating system is just basically like a buffer. It's kind of like a net, and it says, okay, we have all of this stuff coming in. Here's what I'm going to allow through. And we actually start programming our RAS really early in life through our experiences and also the people around us. Like our parents had a really big help in programming our RAS, and that may be a good thing or a bad thing. So essentially, it is the way that we see the world. And so to give you just sort of like a life example of that, let's say that you, and no, probably no one wants this, but let's say all of a sudden you decide you want a bright green Porsche, and you haven't seen a bright green Porsche anywhere, but now that you want it and you're thinking about it and you're about to go buy it, they're everywhere, right? We see that happen to us. Like we decide we want a car, a certain vehicle, and then all of a sudden you see them everywhere all over on the road. Well, that's part of the RAS. So the RAS is like, my attention is on this one particular thing. Now I'm going to show you where it is all over the place. So this is interesting because this is really the science behind how we manifest things. It's not that there's magical fairy dust and that we just start wishing for things and things start to appear. It's that whenever we start to focus our attention on a thing that we want, your RAS starts to expand its borders so that you can notice different pathways, different opportunities, different helpful people that end up showing up. They were there, but you just start noticing them more because it's within that area of focus. And that's really how manifesting works from a scientific aspect. The brain, all of this technology, just gets programmed into this other thing, and now we start noticing opportunities. We call those synchronicities, right? In the spiritual language of it. But scientifically, it's just that your awareness has been opened up to these different avenues. And so, particularly during times like this, where we're getting a ton of really negative news, it just seems like things are, it's quite overwhelming in the negative aspect. Your brain is focusing on that now. The more you feed that, the more you're going to see that. The more you start identifying with those emotions of stress and panic and lack. So what we are doing now is reprogramming the brain. And it really doesn't take more than 10 minutes a day consistently. Julie preaches about doing it consistently, and there really is something to that, because neurons that fire together wire together, right? So that's reshaping our brain. But there's a consistency factor. It's like when we learn a new language. We're not very good at it in the beginning, but you practice, and then it becomes second nature. And that's because the neural pathways are really strong around that new knowledge. So this is why we want to practice. So today I want you to just really release and sort of tell your inner kid that it's time to play. So this is one of my favorite practices. Honestly, it gives me so much joy, because it's like being a child again and dreaming unfettered. Like, what do you want to do? So what I want you to do right now is think about a goal that you want to achieve. Maybe it's a house that you want to buy. Maybe it's a career. Maybe you want to be a great playwright, or I don't know, you want to write a book, whatever it is. Something but I don't want it to be small. Like, I don't want it to be a handbag you're looking to get. I want it to kind of make your gut flutter a little bit. Like, make you a little uncomfortable. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to write it down anyway. And I want you to write it down in a particular way. I don't want you to say, I want this. I want you to say, I am a best-selling author. I am the owner of my dream home. So I want you to write it as if you have already achieved the goal. And then I also want you to write down, and this is, it's individual for you, however many emotional states you can conjure up that you would associate with the achievement of that goal. So, if you want to write a book, maybe it's pride, maybe it's passion, maybe, there's this great sense of love or achievement, these positive emotional states that you would identify with that achievement or that accomplishment. Not everyone's camera's on, so I don't want to interrupt if people are still writing. So now just very briefly, we want to talk about why those emotional states are really important. So we consider thoughts to be the language of the brain, and we consider emotions to be the language of the body. So one of the things when we talk about firing and wiring new circuitry that are really important, and I'm going to give this to you kind of in a less than pleasant example, but whenever you go through a really traumatic event, the body doesn't know the difference between the actual event and your memory recall of the event, right? So you can remember something really traumatic and you can feel the constriction in the chest, and maybe the stomach gets upset again. The body continues to react to it, whether you're in the event or it's just the recall of the event. And the reason why there is because those neurons fire together really intensely when you have a very serious chemical reaction to something. And really, emotion is just chemistry, right? Those are just different chemicals that are released in the body that cause us to feel, love, which is oxytocin, and, cortisol comes from stress. Those are just chemical responses in the body. And so that's why it's important for us when we're building this meditation and this mindfulness practice to draw in those positive emotions. We talked about last week, if you were here, about how that cocktail of positive emotion is really an immune builder as well. So you can think about that too. I mean, that's just yet another benefit of this practice, because we're going to draw forth really positive emotional states when we go into this mindfulness practice. So what we're going to do here is we're going to sit down, we're going to go through a quick body scan, and I'm kind of telling you this in case we get knocked out early so you can practice it after. We're going to go through our quick body scan to lower our heart rate, reduce our blood pressure, calm our body, lower our brain waves, slow down our brain waves, and then we're going to go into a visualization of what it looks like in your achievement. And the reason we're not going to imagine yourself working up to that achievement is very simple. If you knew how to get to that place, you would be there already. So we're going to leave some of that magic open, some of that manifestation magic, where we're just going to get to the end results. We're going to open those parameters on our RAS, and then that will help us notice opportunities to get there. We don't have the roadmap to get there. If we did, we'd already be in our end result. So, but you know what the end result is, right? You know what you want to achieve. You know how it's going to feel. You might even kind of know some people that might be around you. I use the term archetype. So an archetype is kind of like an example of a thing. There's like a mother or a guru or a father figure or a business leader, someone who would be like an archetype for that. Mine is Oprah. She's involved in all of my great things. So I always imagine myself at the end, somehow Oprah's involved. So something like that. So you might want to think about who would be with you when you're in that achievement. How would you carry yourself? What are you wearing? How do you feel? How are you going to feel? What does it feel like in that end result? So that's what we're going to do in our mindfulness practice. So you just really get to sit in that experience of joy and of passion and of excitement and of pride. And we sit in that meditation and we just sort of daydream about what that looks like for all of about 10 minutes. So I'm going to lead you through, get you kind of slowed down and comfortable. So everybody go ahead and get into a comfortable seat. You may lie down if that's what's good for you. And as always, if you need to scratch an itch, scratch it. If you need to move, move. Do whatever you have to do so that your focus can come back to the practice. All right, let's go ahead and get comfortable. And right now we're going to close our eyes and we're just going to focus on our breath for a moment. So you're going to feel your chest expanding, rising and falling. Feel the belly rise with the in-breath and fall with the exhale. Notice the cool on the tip of the nose as you breathe in. And notice it's a little warmer on the exhale as you breathe out. We're going to take a moment to notice our feet, the tops and the bottoms. Feeling our feet, they may be bare or they may be in shoes. Feel your toes. Notice your ankles. See if there's any tension there. Allow that to release and relax. Move up to your lower legs, feeling your shins and your calves. Feel the muscles relax. Notice your knees. Now draw your attention to the upper leg. So feeling your quadriceps. And now up to your hips and your buttocks. If you're sitting in a chair, feel the chair supporting you. If you're lying on the ground, feel yourself feeling fully relaxed. And now feel the low back and the stomach. Feel any tension there melting away. Move up to the upper back and the chest. Just noticing the muscles becoming more relaxed. The body starting to feel heavier. Now draw your attention down to your hands, feeling the tops and the bottoms of the hands. Feel each finger. And draw your attention now to your wrists and your forearms, releasing and relaxing. And now up to the upper arms, your biceps and triceps, releasing. Draw in a nice deep breath, feeling the chest expand, and exhale slowly as you draw your attention up to your shoulders, allowing all of the tension to melt away from the shoulders. And now bring that attention to your neck and your throat. You may want to circle your neck just to release any extra tension. Breathe in a nice deep breath and sigh out. Now draw that attention to your jaw. Allow there to be slack in the jaw, and the tongue feels heavy in the mouth. Move your attention up to your cheeks and your ears, your nose. Let your forehead feel smooth and relaxed. And now to your scalp, feeling all the tension release, just melting away. Now take a moment to feel your body in its entirety, heavy, completely relaxed, peaceful. Now I want you to imagine that you're walking into a theater. Look around at all the seats and find the perfect spot. Place yourself in the seat. Feel the coolness of the theater, a little chill in the air. And I want you to look in front of you and see large draped red curtains. And they're going to slowly open and reveal a large movie screen. And now I want you to play out the completion, the achievement of your goal on that screen. I want you to see yourself in that achievement, and I want you to invite in that feeling of accomplishment. Maybe there's a feeling of joy, of elation, of passion. Imagine who's with you. How do you carry yourself in this situation? What conversations would you be having with the people around you? As your attention starts to wane, I just want you to call back that feeling, that emotional state that you wrote down. and return back to your daydream. Go ahead and slowly open your eyes. You may want to invite some movement into the body, rolling the neck, shrug the shoulders a little bit, pull the wrists, stretch, moving just a little bit. Welcome back. I went over a little bit, but everybody looked so yummy, I didn't want to interrupt. Sorry. How's everybody feeling?
Good, calm.
Good. How was that experience for everybody?
Great. It was wonderful.
Did anybody find it challenging to stay with it, or you did?
A little.
I would like come in and out because I could hear things happening in the other room, children and stuff. And so I was like, get back to my daydream. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I was able to stay in it more so than last week. So that was good.
That's awesome. And so what about that feeling? So what about the emotional state? Were you able to keep that? Because I saw some of you like smiling. You know, like you looked kind of joyful.
Yeah.
Awesome. This is like an incredible practice. And I say this again, I try to bring science to it so it's not so out of reach for everybody. But this really has drawn to me some extraordinary things. And it's not that they were never there and that I just created them out of the neurons in my brain. It's just that they really do. It will bring people into your life who can help guide you towards the things that you're looking for. And you will notice opportunities. Again, you know, I get weird about just saying the word manifest because it sounds like I can just wish for things and some cool leprechaun is going to put it on my doorstep. But it's really a practice of expanding your reticular activating system so that you can notice things, saying yes to opportunities, and moving yourself towards that goal or achievement. It seems like every time I would take a step and every time I would use this tool, it's like flow. It feels almost effortless. And I know we as Americans really hate that idea because we got to work hard and muscle through. But you really, you know, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you really just have to take a step in the right direction and open and expand your awareness. And so this is really what this tool is designed to do. And I hope and pray that you find some joy with it, because I always do. It's kind of like, it's a real mood booster for me to play in my dreams. For heaven's sake, women particularly, we take care of everybody in the universe. And to take 10 whole stinking minutes to dream about your best life and where you want to be and what you want to do, I beg of you to give yourself that gift. You all certainly overly deserve it. And I would love to hear what happens.